better control if you can keep them out of your ponds, and your cattle are going to do better. Ponds are, they're nasty. They also carry a lot of disease, germs, scours, everything else that you can think of. Cattle, they like good drinking water just like we do, and they'll perform much better. Someone else had a question right here. Yes. Well, then just don't let them have any more water. They'll drink it. You got to be the boss of them. That's the reason you got to have those wires out there. You graze here, old gal. Your water's over here. So you give them that choice, and they'll take it. How am I going to get water to all those paddocks? A water point in every paddock, because they got to have water. Well, after diddling around on that paper and everything else and coming up, I didn't have nobody helping me. They hadn't even got around thinking about this. Well, this water is 4 different paddocks from this point here. We have the tub sitting under the rope here, takes care of this paddock, then we move it over and takes care of this paddock, then we put it over the fence, it takes care of the paddock over here, and the one here. So all of our water points takes care of 4 paddocks at 1 point, and it works out real well and very simple, and they're almost relatively free of repairs and things. And sometimes you'll have a hose that will break or something of that type. Sometimes you'll have a water leak, but not often. And so it's very, very reliable. It's a lot more reliable than what rain is. And you know, it don't take anybody too smart. If you just want to stop a whole lot of work, you can come up with these ideas, and it'll work. We're looking at a water point here, and it's just a 55-gallon drum that we have cut in 2, and we put a automatic float into it. And then we go to our water source that's a 1-inch line that runs down along the fence line, and we have a quick connect that we just plug it in, and this water then is available for these cattle anytime they walk up here. Well, it automatically fills back up and flows full all the time. Went on up to the next one and put the other one up there. So you wind up with just 2 points here, and you're taking care of all those paddocks.
8 paddocks.
8 paddocks. Here in filling this up, by holding that down, the water is running in there full flow, and we'll have 2 or 3 animals that will come up here at a time, and they'll be drinking. We have approximately 22 gallons in there, and it pretty well will keep up with the group of cattle all the time. I don't need a water trough at every point, that one float, because you can tie up about $30, $40 there, and we use a half of 55-gallon barrel for our tank. We just cut it'll take care of 50, 75 head. More.
Don't all drink at the same time.
Because here's the big point. Those cattle only have to walk 200 or 300 feet, get a water. Now, they'll come up here 1 or 2 or 3 at a time, get them water, and go on back and start drinking. But if they got to walk a half a mile or a mile to get water, they're going to wait till everybody gets thirsty. Okay, let's everybody go get water. So they go up to the tank, and they'll drink water, and then they'll go out there and lay down and mess all over everything and stand in the water and switch your tail and crap in it and do everything else. So you just got a filthy spot. Here, they're going to come in, get a drink, get on back. And you say, well, what if you're running 100 head in it? No big deal. All you do is just put a wire down here, and you put a tub up here and another one right over here. So now you can take care of 100 head, 150 head.
And you keep it up here in the corner so they don't mess with it. Because they won't come up here and you know, mess with the hose and stuff because it's back over here.
Folks, he said, I can't keep them from turning it over. And I said, tell me how you have it placed. Well, I got it on that hose like you have, and I plug it in, and I set the tub where you set it. I set it out away from the fence out in there. And we were on the telephone. I said, you're not putting it under the fence? Part of it under the fence? No. I said, that'll solve your problem if you'll just set it back over close to the fence. I said, they'll quit trying to go around it because that hot wire will keep them. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. And he'd been teaching school for 20 years. We come in and take a meter reading here to see the consumption of water on the cattle out in the pasture. And we've taken a reader down here and got our numbers. They have consumed 1,940 gallons for the last 2 days. So that's an average of 970 gallons per day. We've got approximately 70 head of cattle in there. So they have been consuming an average of 14 gallons per head per day. So on the average, an animal will consume about 1 gallon of water per 100 pounds of body weight per day. So they have been consuming about 14 gallons a head per day. So that is a little bit too much for what we think their weights are probably at. But they probably are drinking more water now because the forage is rather dry and the temperature has been up pretty high. So that will call here that they're just like we are. According to the weather, the other things that's happening here, we consume more water on a hot, dry day than we do on a day that that is somewhat cooler, and we're not sweating and are perspiring and everything. So this is probably pretty well in line here. I don't understand how you're going through the winter without feeding hay. I said, well, why don't you come over there and see us and check us out? Well, he and their ranch manager, they came over here, Roger Walters. They came over, and it was about the 3rd week of December. So I get them behind the four-wheeler on the wagon, and we go down in the pasture, and I pull down in there. We had 150 head grazing in there on crabgrass and coastal and Alicia, and our clover was coming up in there at that time. So we pulled up, and I stopped. He said, okay, now what do these cattle get? I said, what you see out here is what they're getting. He said, that's all? That's it. That's all I got to offer. Well, he fell off of one side of the trailer and Roger fell off the other side. They went out there and started snatching grass, snatching grass. I was sitting up on the four-wheeler. Okay, tell me what's going on. I don't know. They come back and they lay the grass up on the trailer and they say, is it all right for us to check this grass out for protein level? I said, just one stipulation. Well, what is that? That I get the results. Amen. He said, oh, yeah, I'll mail it to you. Sure will. He didn't mail it to me. He called me. About 5-6 days later, he called me. Do you know what that grass is in protein? I have no earthly idea. No. It was just under 12%, 11.7, I think. He said, I cannot believe that. He said, you have shot my dissertation all to hell. Sorry, I didn't aim to do it. Nature did it. I was just cooperating with her. And so from then on, I began to pick up some things and learn different things. Turn it on!